I remember even being young before Saber was super big, people kind of being attracted to his stuff because he was young and he was doing really technical pieces and he was very productive. And, you know, he hit good spots. He wasn't that guy just walking down the street, just tagging on everything. He was the person that would take the spot and make the most of it.
Saber's known for just going all out. He's known for doing things that, like, people talk about doing, but nobody ever really has the ambition or the drive to really try to go out and produce and accomplish. As far as the West Coast is concerned, he's produced like probably, you know, 4 or 5 of the like 10 most monumental pieces and works of graffiti. Things like the bridge on the 5 with GK, you know, that MSK billboard right there by the Capitol Records building in Hollywood. You know, those things were just like colossal.
I've heard that I was dead many times. You know, graffiti is all about gossip. Hi, sweetie.
This myth. It follows him, but it's a very two-dimensional character of who he is.
He's infamous, if you will. He's got a larger-than-life persona as far as his graffiti accomplishments and his name.
Laser blasts and gem spinners. That's Saber's reputation. And he's a pervert.
The first day I got my name was the day after I had my first sexual experience, and I saw the letters, and I saw that was the most amazing letter combination ever. Like an S in the beginning, an A is beautiful, a B in the middle, which makes it symmetrical, coming back into itself, the E to balance out the A, and then the R to kick it off. It's just like the sickest letter combination yet, I think, personally. And so I'm walking with her, holding her hand, crossing the street. She gets hit by a car, gets smashed, was lying on the center divider, leaking out of her head. And simultaneously, I'm looking across the street, and the kid who gave me my name was getting jumped by these serious gangsters. Basically, the two worlds of women and graffiti were just unfolding to me in this like hellish turmoil tornado of like, holy shit, this is what I'm in for the next, you know, the rest of my life.
When I would tattoo him, he would come and he would just unload on me this whole pent-up ration of shit. It's just like fever of Saber.
My whole family are artists, and both my parents graduated Art Center, so I grew up at Art Center and seeing hyper design, seeing car design. I freestyled everything. I had a general plan, but you know, nothing too specific. Started getting the blue tape out and just started taping out shapes. This is too hard, so I gotta make it softer.
He drew every day since he was 2 years old. It was almost something he had to do because when he didn't, he actually became very irritable.
I didn't have any brothers or sisters to beat me up. I spent a lot of time by myself. I remember getting in fights in kids in first grade over who was the best artist in class. I was the only kid that was willing to fight, so. I was gonna say Saber, but it's gonna take me a minute to get to that point. Looks a little messy now, but by the end of the day, it's gonna look real nice. S-A-B-E-R. You know, I mean, there's a lot of math going on. There's a lot of visual math going on, and people don't realize how much math really goes on to do a piece. It's like with our pieces, we like to break them down to as if they're actually in fighting stance. The R leg is cocked a certain way and has parts coming out that'll get you, or when I have certain center points to a piece, I'll guard them with little like spike connector laser things or whatever you want to call it. So it took me and Zess about 3 nights, and it's actually about 3 stories tall. And the funny thing was, when I finished it, I get a phone call from GK, early as hell. Your S looks like shit. You need to go back up there and fix it. And I was like, ah! So I went back in the day and fixed the S, and then I figured out finally it's done. Everything in my life always revolved around doing graffiti, as far as I put that in front of my family, in front of myself. You know, I've put my parents through hell for this.
There were points that became very low, yes. In fact, it was very disruptive to the family, to my husband and I as a couple, but also as financially, it was hard on us. We both had jobs that we had to maintain, and it's kind of scary when you pull up from work and you see a police car outside your door, and you're not sure if it's just because he's in trouble, or they're telling you something worse than that. Because I've known his friends have been killed, have been shot, stabbed. I've known that he's been beaten up so bad one time that I thought I was going to lose him with his eye. He wasn't going to have an eye, and he had brain damage where he had to go back through training, educational training. And years later I found out it was his own friends that beat him up to jump him into this sort of quasi-gang thing.
And I had brain hemorrhaging and short-term memory loss. I was in the hospital for 2 weeks.
His knees are blown out, his shoulders are blown out and can't be repaired. Things like that to me have nothing to do with the art. I couldn't understand how defiant he started to get, and it had just gotten to a point where nothing worked. Praise didn't work, threatening didn't work, punishment, restrictions.
Eventually I told him, I'm going to do this anyway. I'm either going to let me go, or I'm going to sneak out of the house, I'm going to steal the car, and I'm going to drive into LA, I'm going to go hang off a bridge. And I'm going to steal some paint on the way there.
And I remember throwing a handful of cash down the stairwell at him. And I said, pick it up and don't come back. Call me, I always want to know what you're doing, but you can't live here anymore. That, I think, was probably one of the lowest points, because the last thing you ever want to do is throw your child out of your house.
First of all, the obstacle is getting in with all your supplies. You have to be aware of who's around you, who's going to call the police on you. If there's sensors, you don't go in there slipping. And then, you begin your project. And the beauty is you're the only one in the entire world at that moment that's in that position. I've been in plenty of situations where I've watched the world unfold in a way that most people don't get a chance to see it. And that's 12 stories up, hiding from a helicopter. When you're that high up and you're that visible and you're doing something so big, they pretty much can see you from a mile away, possibly. So there's a person in there looking, and he has infrared if he wants it. Oh, holy shit, your heart's pounding, and that voice inside of you that tells you not to do it, the guilt and the fear that's inside of you, your stomach turns into knots. It scares the shit out of me. I'm constantly paranoid and in fear of my own life. Those times, on that 6-inch ledge where I just slipped, and it's like I've been there too many times. But if you don't do it, you don't succeed, and someone else got the spot, someone else got the fame. Every single graffiti writer is a manic depressive, insecure person, because that's the only thing that makes you want to go out and write on somebody's shit. Satan, to me, his anger stems from his separation anxiety from God, and this is what this painting is called, separation anxiety. At this moment, I got him at his weakness for the love of God. I'm not trying to be goth, I'm not trying to be satanic. These things just come out of me, and I just paint them. Another Satan, but I think I need to paint another angel now to balance it out. Sometimes my imagination just kind of goes away with me. My dreams haunt me relentlessly. Terrible, terrible nightmares. I will wake up in this kitchen, freaking the fuck out, or moving paintings in my sleep, or these weird spider dreams that are just ruthless. And, I actually made a little spider and put it next to my bed so that it kind of is like my little spider protector and things. Graffiti flourishes where it's the worst, in the darkest places. You see things that you're not supposed to see. I mean, the amount of homeless sex that I've seen on the street is ridiculous. You're painting. What are you gonna do? Leave because this idiot's gonna go fuck right next to you and smoke crack and shit? No, you're gonna keep painting, so you paint, you know? I've seen dudes coughing up tuberculosis, coughing up lung matter as he's walking along to go die in a fucking piss corner somewhere. There's plenty of dilapidated people out there that need somebody to pray for them. I mean, you know. On the other hand, people are in that position maybe because they deserve it or maybe because they made the wrong choices. Life is a dark fucking place. It's beautiful in the same token. A lot does grow in the dark. I've been coming here for 14, 15 years. But I actually fell in the river one time. I got caught in the currents. I had to get a hepatitis shot the next day. This place can be very dangerous at times. The freeway people can see you, CHP, the helicopters and the Amtrak. It's a strange place. It's just kind of like some no man's land. A lot of texture, I guess. That's my number one insecurity right there. And this is where I spilt the 5 gallons. And I just broke down that night. And I beat the bucket for like 45 minutes. I've thrown a few fits over this fucking piece. Right now we are in the LA River on my old piece I did in 1997. Roughly about 55 feet tall by almost 250 feet across. By the end, it took about 126 gallons of rolling paint. It took me about maybe 35 nights to paint this thing. Actually, I blew my knee out on this piece. All the time on the slant, I created a groove in the cartilage, so I had to get surgery on my knee. I think the outline will hold at least under 10 years, but you know, this environment, it gets so much sun, it gets so hot, all this paint just gets baked every day. Originally, when I finished it, it was 97 gallons, but some asshole came from New York to diss it, so I came back and did the outline. In the long run, I'm actually really glad he did that because it humbled me. And the other thing is it gave me so much freaking fame in New York that it revitalized my, presence. I wish it looked like it did the day I finished it, but I guess it's a blessing that it's still even here at this point, I can control the destiny of these paintings a lot easier than I can my graffiti. And I'm tired of getting buffed. I'm tired of getting dissed, You pretty much got to count on everything that you've ever done will get dissed, buffed, or fade away. There's over. He touched that surface, he's gone. What sucks is that that's it for that kid right there. That's all he has left in this world. And one day that will be gone. So now we are in the LA River. It smells a lot nicer in here though. I had the great opportunity to paint this. An institution like this has never included graffiti, What's more important, vandalizing or actually doing something that will last? So it's not about just being a young punk running around destroying shit.